I'm not ashamed to own my Lord, nor to defend his cause. Maintain the honors of his word, the glory of his cross.
Hello, I'm James Brown, and on behalf of the East End Church of Christ, located in Toronto, Canada, I'd like to welcome you to Tuesday's edition of Walking Through the Bible, a podcast where we seek to study the Bible and the Bible alone. Please stick around afterwards for information on how you can contact us. But for now, if you have a Bible with you, please turn to the book of Genesis, and we'll turn you over to Jeremy Dieselkamp for our study of the day.
Thank you, James, and welcome to all of our viewers. This is the 49th lesson in our study of Genesis. Yesterday we covered Genesis chapter 13, verses 14 to 18, discussing how God showed Abraham all the land his children would possess. If you missed that episode and would like to watch it, you can find it and all of our other podcasts on our website at www.eastendchurch.org. You can also find them on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/EastEndChurchOfChrist under the Walking Through the Bible Genesis playlist. Today we're going to begin with Genesis 14, verse 1 and read through verse 12. The text that you'll see on the screen is from the English Standard Version, but you're welcome to follow along with any version that you have. So let's now read Genesis 14, beginning at verse 1. In the days of Armaphel, king of Shinar, Arioch, king of Elasar, Shadralamer, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of Goam, these kings made war with Bera, king of Sodom, Bersha, king of Gomorrah, Shinab, king of Admah, Shemeber, king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, that is Zor. And all these joined forces in the valley of Siddim, that is the Salt Sea. 12 years they had served Shadralamer, but in the 13th year they rebelled. In the 14th year, Shadralamer and the kings who were with him came and defeated the Rephaim in Ashtaroth Karnaim, the Zuzim in Ham, the Emim in Shavah Kiriathaim, and the Horites in the hill country of Seir as far as El Paran on the border of the wilderness. Then they turned back and came to El Mishpat, that is Kadesh, and defeated all the country of the Amalekites, and also the Amorites who were dwelling in Hazazon Tamar. Then the king of Sodom, the king of Gomorrah, the king of Admah, the king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, that is Zor, went out and joined the battle in the valley of Siddim with Chadorlaomer, king of Elam, Tidal, king of Goam, Armaphel, king of Shinar, and Arioch, king of Elasar, 4 kings against 5. Now the valley of Siddim was full of bitumen pits, and as the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled, some fell into them, and the rest fled to the hill country. So the enemy took all the possessions of Sodom and Gomorrah and all their provisions and went their way. They also took Lot, the son of Abram's brother, who was dwelling in Sodom, and his possessions, and went their way. This chapter is a break from chapter 13. By the phrasing "in the days of," we can assume that a few years have passed. This would seem to be true since in chapter 17 we're going to find that Abraham was 100 years old there, while chapter 12 he was only 75 years old. Regardless, we have 4 kings allying themselves together to come fight against 5 other kings on the east side of the Jordan Valley, where Lot chose to settle. When we discuss the table of nations found in chapter 10, which are lessons 39 to 41, you'll recall that I said studying these names will help us later. Armaphel was the king of Shinar. Nimrod, one of the descendants of Ham, was the first king in the land of Shinar, so it is quite possible that this king is one of Nimrod's descendants. We don't know where Elasar is, but some suspect it is a region in Shinar, meaning that Shinar has been divided into 2 kings, and Arioch is one of them. Chadorlaomer was the king of Elam, Elam being one of the sons of Shem. The last king is Tidal. He was a king of Goam. Commentaries are split whether this is a city or a collection of tribes. It is thought that whichever is the case, that it would have been of the lineage of Japheth, but such cannot be definitively proven. These 4 kings came to war against the 5 kings that were on the east side of the Jordan Valley. There was Bera, the king of Sodom, Bersha, the king of Gomorrah, another city of great wickedness, Shinab, king of Admah, Shemeber, king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, or Zor, with that king being unnamed. These kings were not kings of regions, but of cities. The reason that the 4 kings came to war is because of a rebellion against Chadorlaomer from the 5 kings of the Jordan Valley. The military strike was far larger than just these 5 cities, though, for they passed through what is now Syria all the way down to the eastern side of the Jordan River, conquering as they went. They even conquered the lands that would later be inhabited by the Amalekites, descendants of Esau, which lies between Palestine and Egypt. Some have a problem with the Amalekites being mentioned here, but remember, these records are being compiled by Moses later under the direction of the Holy Spirit, so some names would have been changed so the reader of that time would understand. When the kings came up to the 5 rebellious cities, the war seemed swift, for the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled from battle and seemingly fell and died in the bitumen pits, which are petroleum pits, while others fled to the hills. The 4 kings took all the possessions of Sodom and Gomorrah, including Lot, Abram's nephew, and went their way. With that, our time is up for today. Please join us, the Lord willing, tomorrow when we will continue our study of Genesis, beginning with Genesis 14, verse 13.
Thank you, Jeremy. And to our viewers, we also thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. Should you have any questions or comments, please leave a comment below or email us at answerintheword@gmail.com. We'll try to respond to you as quickly as we can. We hope you'll join us, the Lord willing, tomorrow when we'll be continuing our study of the book of Genesis. Goodbye for now and have a great day.
I'm not ashamed to own my Lord.